Well, good evening. Good evening. We apologize for the delay. We had a couple little technical difficulties here, but nonetheless, here we are. Welcome back to Red, White, and True News, where life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is alive and well. How you doing, Mr. Brutally Honest? Doing all
I'm
right?
doing good. Fitter than a fiddle and finer than a frog hair split three ways.
I couldn't say that if I tried.
Takes practice.
Takes. Oh, well, we hope everyone had a great weekend. Man, things fly by, don't they?
That they do.
Yeah, hey, I wanted to start off with this the MOSSAD. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but basically Israeli intelligence sources basically are rejecting claims that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad operative. Did you hear about that, Chris?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it was just breaking today. It says a wave of recent reporting and this is from Fox or no OAN. Newly released documents detailing a relationship between former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak and Jeffrey Epstein had reignited claims that Epstein worked for Israeli Mossad, a theory Israeli intelligence sources and senior political leaders are forcefully rejecting. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu publicly pushed back on the claim, writing on X, Jeffrey Epstein is unusual. Close relationship with Ehud Barak doesn't suggest Epstein worked for Israel. It proves the opposite. Wow. Yeah, so I don't know, man. You know, this Jeffrey Epstein crap has just gotten way out of control.
It's here's the biggest thing. This whole deal with the Epstein thing, okay? Why has absolutely nobody been arrested except for one person? And that person's in the Netherlands.
Right? Yeah, right.
But why has nobody on the redacted files, any names that's ever come up, why hasn't anybody been charged with a crime?
Man, I don't know. It's pretty strange to me.
You know, and here's the biggest thing. The Democrats keep pushing. They're mad because some files are redacted, they're actually mad too that all of these files got released by somebody to everybody, the entire population of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they just wanted them. But yet, it's kind of funny that you're not seeing a lot of Republican names or Trump names and stuff like that. But yet, they're still saying, well, how come these people aren't getting charged? Well, that's a damn good question. Why is nobody getting charged? I mean, anybody from Oprah Winfrey, who's really had a lot of ties with Epstein,
Bill
Gates, to Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Why is nobody being charged or questioned?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And that's the whole kicker there. But, you know, this whole Epstein thing, there's something not right in the cookie jar on this whole thing. And what I mean by that is something stinks to high heaven in this aspect that there's thousands of people tied into this, right?
Right.
But why is it that if there's a possible Mossad connection, why isn't people looking into that? Why isn't the Senate and the House wanting to have these congressional hearings to see if it's actually true or not? Because OAN, to me, One American News, to me, is one of the most reliable news sources out there. They're not biased. They just tell it like it is.
Yeah.
And so if they're going to put that out there, then why is somebody not looking into it? And why are they only concentrated on Trump. You know,
Yep.
if you're going to be serious about this, then start going after everybody. You know, hell, they're still mad that Maxwell pleaded the fifth when she testified in front of them. They're still mad about that. Well, she did that for a reason. She's not going to incriminate herself. That's a known fact. Why would you incriminate yourself? But yet they're nitpicking all this crap instead of actually going after the problem. And the main problem is this. They have a list of the people, okay, who is involved in all this stuff. Why are they not going after them? Why is the House and the Senate and all these Democrats so concerned about stuff that don't even matter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, something's not right here. But if he was a Mossad agent, okay, now this is probably going back before your time. It wouldn't surprise me because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're old enough, you remember a show called The Gong Show. Okay? The Gong Show. It was on in the 70s. The host of that show is well documented and it's public information. You can look it up. He was actually a hitman for the CIA. Jeez. But he was the host of The Gong Show. God. And you would never know it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why it came out was because it was a deathbed confession that he was.
Wow.
Now, you look at somebody that's goofy like that hits a gong every once in a while, has got a panel of people, and they do music skits and all this stuff, and the guy come out dancing with a bag over his head. It's just a real kooky show, and he's an assassin for the CIA. Then, yeah, I could believe if Epstein was working with Mossad. I can.
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe everything that comes out of Netanyahu's mouth? Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Not at all.
He's a politician. I don't believe half the stuff that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
At all. And I don't believe half the stuff that comes out of Israel either. I'm gonna be dead honest about it. But that's just me. But that is my thoughts on this.
Well, I think we live in such a world that, there's so many conspiracy theories that float around out there. And, this agency, that agency has lost credibility because of X, Y, and Z. And, I've even heard reports before that Mark Levin and freaking Ben Shapiro are part of the Mossad. I ain't heard such ridiculous crap in my life. Mark Levin is not part of the Mossad.
Yeah. Well, the reason why they're saying that is because he's Jewish.
Well, yeah.
That's it.
He's good friends with Netanyahu, but he ain't part of the Mossad. Come on, really? But part of the reason a lot of these people haven't been charged, their names appear in the Epstein files, but just because you're shown in a picture partying it up on Epstein Island, you didn't commit a crime doing that. So that's why they're telling people, look, if you were touched, groped, molested, raped, anything, and you were underage by anyone on that island, we need you to come forward. And furthermore, it's so hilarious to me that the Biden administration had 4 years to do something with these files. And now all of a sudden it's Trump and the Republicans that are trying to cover something up. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, folks. These people had 4 years to release this crap. 4 years. And Trump's the one that signed the daggum law or the act or the bill or whatever it was to release this stuff to the American public.
And what the Democrats are trying to do is they want those victims to be re-victimized by coming forward and testifying again.
And dragging them through court, yeah.
Well, there have been some that's already made videos saying what's what. And there's also been some that said, yes, they knew Donald Trump. No, he did absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah. There've been a bunch of people vouched for Trump.
But
he was
the Democrats are wanting these people to be re-victimized by what they went through. Mm-hmm. They wanted to come out and they wanted all their stuff. And that's one reason why they've got their names, the victims' names redacted, which I understand completely.
Sure.
I understand that 100%. Why would you want a rape victim to go up, put herself in front of the world? Because you know that's exactly what the Democrats will do.
That's exactly what they'll do.
And re-victimize herself. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it at all. I would understand if they got into a room and had their face covered and testified to where they couldn't be seen. Then yes, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Because these people have gone on, they've tried to better their lives from where it was to now. And more than likely, some of them's gotten married. Some of them might have had kids. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But why bring this up again to destroy the family that you have? Just so the Democrats can try to make a point. But the point they're going to try to make is how this is all Trump's fault. It's all on Republicans. But 99% of the people they're coming up with names with are liberals. Now, amazing, isn't it?
Well, sure. Yeah, because it was a big, basically, it was long and short of the whole Epstein deal was it was a cabal of people that were trying to blackmail big names of prominent people into basically to conspire against them so they'd have dirt on them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know, I mean, that's why they tried to rein Trump in and then he saw exactly what Epstein was. But this was long before Trump even said anything about running. I know he had mentioned it back in the early 2000s, and he was still, I mean, at the time was a Democrat.
Well, he cut his ties with Epstein. They're in Florida at Mar-a-Lago.
At Mar-a-Lago, yeah.
In the 90s is when he cut ties with him because Epstein was trying something with some of the girls at Mar-a-Lago, and Trump said, no, you're blacklisted. You have to leave. You're done. Yeah. Our friendship is over.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you this, but I saw an interview the other day with Bill Gates' ex-wife that he divorced, or she divorced. No, she divorced him because she kept hearing about this Epstein guy. She didn't know who he was. And she told her husband, look, I want to go down there with you. I want to see who this Epstein guy is. And she went, and she said he was the most sick, vile, evil-looking, talking, the way he talked to the people there. She said, I had nightmares about this guy for months. She said, I listened to him talk for a few minutes and I was gone. That's all I had to hear Epstein say. Yeah. And her husband divorced not long after that because him and Bill Gates were very close.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, and it's a power play, too. I mean, look at who all Epstein was around. It was power players.
Power players, yeah. Big names.
It wasn't no common man. It wasn't nobody like you and me. These were all people that's high up, with 7, 8, 9 figures in the bank account. That when they said something, then that was that. I mean, it was law and it was governed, and you know they can make things shake, rattle, and roll. But you know, he did it for a reason. He did it for a reason, and here's the biggest thing too. Like I was told many years ago by some ex-representatives and ex-senators that went to Washington, D.C., that after you're voted in and you get up to that place up there, they will find a way to get stuff on you. You will bow and do as they wish because they will find a way to get stuff to hang over you, kind of like, well, we'd really hate to see this go public. You know?
Yeah.
And what do you think Epstein was doing with all this?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There was a plan.
That's like old Jamie the Red Raskin. You know, his dad was an old Red from communist Russia. And the other day at that hearing up on Capitol Hill, it was basically about the Epstein files. And Jamie Raskin said something, and he goes, that ain't happening in our hearing. And I already explained to you that you were not going to, and Pam Bondi unloaded on him. Who do you think you are? You don't tell me anything to do. And she
Yeah.
just let him have it, man. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, them people, man. They'll walk all over you if you don't.
Yep. And
You
they
know?
do it for a reason.
That's
Because
exactly right.
that's how they get their talking points.
Yep. Yeah, I was the SAVE Act. I was going to mention that too. You know, that SAVE Act passed in the House, but it's got to pass in the Senate now. But Trump is saying, and I haven't caught how he's going to do it yet, but he's saying that regardless whether it passes in the Senate or not, there will be voter ID for the midterms. And I think it's, the Democrats, listen to this. The Democrats just made an admission that illegals have been voting in our elections. But the Democrats are trying to ban immigration enforcement at places of worship, hospitals, and at schools. But now they're adding one more sensitive location. It's called polling places. Okay. So if illegal aliens aren't voting in our elections, then why does it matter if ICE is enforcing immigration law at polling places? Because you're telling me that those that are violating immigration law aren't showing up to polling places? So it shouldn't matter, right? This to me right here is an admission. They are, quote, yeah, right. Their illegals are voting in elections and we don't want them to get caught. So we're adding polling places as a safe zone, a sanctuary zone for aliens. So you can't arrest anybody who's in the country illegally at a polling place. What's somebody who's in the country illegally doing at a polling place in the first place, right?
Exactly.
So the left wants ICE to stay away from polling places because they know that illegals are voting in elections. Period. So it's an admission of guilt to me.
It is. It is. It is. It's just like this shutdown they're wanting to do against ICE. Well, the problem is ICE is funded through the big beautiful bill.
Right, through 2027.
But what they're wanting to do is they're thinking, oh, we're going to hurt ICE, but you can't because they're funded through 2027, so they're going to hurt TSA and everything. And like Ocasio-Cortez said, we didn't hurt the working class people hard enough. So we need to really hurt them by shutting the government down.
Yep.
That was her words. We didn't hurt the working people hard enough.
Yep.
So how is shutting the government down going to hurt the working people? You're not hurting the working people. You're hurting the military, which is the Coast Guard, which is vital, even though I'm not a water baby. But the Coast Guard is vital to protect our coast. I know people that's former Coast Guards, and it's in the Coast Guard.
Right.
And they got a vital mission. Not only do they rescue people, but they also prevent drugs from coming in. They also prevent ships from getting too close.
Yep.
It's just kind of like it's a no-brainer. The Coast Guard is another branch of military service. And then you shut down the government. Well, there's your TSA. So how many airports want to close down again? So people can't go to work and people can't do their job. Airline pilots, air traffic controller, stewardesses, airports, TSA, shut them all down just because the Democrats want to try to prove a point. To shut down, they want people to be unmasked. Sorry, that's not going to happen.
Same people that told us we had to wear a mask during COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Bunch of hypocrites, man.
Yep.
I don't know. It's I don't know. I mean, this SAVE Act should tell you everything you need to know about these people. You know what I mean?
It's common sense. If you're going to vote, you have to have ID to prove who you are. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
You got to have ID to go through an airport. You got to have ID to buy alcohol. You got to have ID to buy cigarettes, dip, anything else. You got to have ID to buy all that stuff. And
I'm going to tell you something that's kind of funny. I actually know 25 people. And their last name is Guerrero. They're not related at all, but their last name is Guerrero. Now, out of those 25 people that I know with the last name of Guerrero, I know for a fact 8 of them are illegal. I know that for a fact. The rest of them were born here in America, and their parents are American citizens. But they all have the last name of Guerrero.
Gee whiz. Wow. Huh.
You know, it's just kind of like Mexican last names are very common. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like there's a lot of them. I know several of them, their first name was Jesus, which in American terms would be Jesus, but they go by Jesse. Okay?
Right.
I know probably 30 of them that's by the name of Jesus. Kind of like, okay, and I know for a fact they're not illegal.
Wow. Oh, speaking of illegals, Hillary Clinton says that migration went too far and needs to be fixed in a humane way. While in Germany for the Munich Security Conference, by the way, that's why all of our congressmen and women are out all this coming week, because they're all over in Munich. But Hillary Clinton participated in a panel titled "The West Divide: What Remains of Common Values." During the panel, Clinton appeared to take a stronger approach to her previous stance on border security. There's a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people, and how we're going to have a strong family structure because it is at the base of civilization. Clinton acknowledged that there are places where a physical barrier is appropriate, but opposed large-scale expansion of a border wall during her 2016 presidential campaign. At the time, she supported then-President Barack Hussein Obama's executive action that deferred immigration enforcement against millions of children and parents in the country illegally, and wanted to end the practice of family detention. Yeah, can you believe that?
Wait a minute. So Hillary Clinton was over at this thing?
Yeah, she's in Munich with all of our men and women from Congress and the House of Representatives.
Hold the fucking boat.
Yep.
Hold the boat. She's in Munich as this thing spouting her mouth off. Now she's admitting that she's wrong. But needless to say, she had a subpoena to show up
Yep.
and testify at a hearing.
You got it. Yes, sir.
But yet she couldn't show up for that. But yet she's in Munich representing who? If she's representing the United States, well, that's a violation of the Logan Act. She can't do that. So she has to be representing herself. And why has she not been arrested for violating the subpoena to testify? And why has she been allowed? She don't even have security clearances anymore. So why is she being allowed to go to this stuff?
From my understanding, the oversight committee in which her and old Slick Willie there are supposed to testify in front of are giving them until a date to show their face, or they will hold them in contempt. So basically, they're letting the Clintons dictate when they're going to show up and when they're not. They should have held them in contempt already.
That right there shows you exactly what our government is.
Exactly where you got it, man. And
it's a pile of shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I guarantee you, if that had been you or that had been me, we would already be underneath the damn jail.
You got it, man. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know what? Hold them to the same standard that Steve Bannon and Roger Stone and dadgummit, Roger Stone, not General Flynn, Paul Manafort.
Yeah.
They hold them to the same standards all them guys. They went to jail.
But yet the liberals are the first ones to cry. Well, the laws apply to everybody. Nobody's exempt.
Like a bunch of pigs. Yep.
Well, if nobody's exempt, then what the hell is Hillary Clinton doing over there?
That's right.
And she better not be. I mean, if she's representing the United States saying that stuff, that is a violation of the Logan Act.
Yes, sir, buddy. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. There she is over there running her soup cooler with AOC. Man, did you hear what that comment AOC made? I can't even repeat it. It was such mumbo jumbo. It literally sounded like Kamala Harris sitting up there talking, and it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Her and Gavin Newsom, they all went over there just to trash Trump. That's the only reason they went to Munich, to trash Trump. It's like, now you're going to go over to Germany to trash our president. You know how dumb that makes you look?
Well, Gavin Newsom's a joke anyway. I mean, if you want to know what get about Gavin Newsom, just look at the state of California.
That's right.
And I guarantee you with AOC, she's wanting to run for president is what she's wanting to do. But
good Lord help
she's
us.
over there in the Netherlands, and her little protege there, old Greta, is probably just eating it up. Greta's the one that says, "Oh, you're just killing the planet." That little 16-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They speaking of AOC, she's the one that started this whole new Green Deal crap back years ago. And Lee Zeldin came out the other day in the Oval Office with Trump. When these cars that people drive now, they stop. When you stop at a car or at a stoplight, they shut off. That's some emissions.
I heard about that. I've never seen that, but I've heard about that.
It's gone. It's gone now. Trump signed a bill.
I drive diesels. All right, my trucks are so old I don't have to have DEF put in them, but they started making these trucks and you got to put DEF in them, which is just urea, which is fertilizer. But Lee Zeldin and Trump got rid of DEF. There ain't going to be no more DEF on these vehicles at all, because that was just something that the Democrats did do, and it's just a joke.
Oh, so does that mean they have to start building vehicles that doesn't require it, or they don't have to start? Yep. They don't have to put them in anymore. So vehicles the ones that take DEF now, they still have to put DEF in them.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But no, they're already making trucks, diesel trucks with no DEF system on there. I know a guy, matter of fact, who bought a brand new Peterbilt to haul cattle, and he got that truck in January 5. January 5. Now, when was Trump put into office? When
January the 20th.
Exactly. But he bought this truck January the 5th, and it had no DEF system on it. So they knew this was coming. And it was a brand new truck from Peterbilt. They knew it was coming. So they made that truck. He said this was the fourth brand new truck ever made by Peterbilt. It has no DEF system on it.
Wow. Oh, I was going to tell you, we was talking about Gavin Newsom a minute ago. Listen to this. I did some research. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. The great governor from California, when Chris just said, look at California, how it's been running the ground, and listen to this. Number 1 in frivolous lawsuits. The state of California is number 1 in homelessness. The state of California is number 1 in state income tax, number 1 in sales tax, number 1 in gas tax, number 1 in corporate tax, number 1 in worst quality of life, number 1 in budget deficit, number 1 in addiction, number 1 in poverty, number 1 in income tax, number 1 in retail theft, number 1 in citizen mass exodus, meaning people are moving out of the state, by the way, number 1 in COVID mandates, number 1 in school closures during COVID, number 1 in business closures during COVID, number 1 in funding illegal immigration, number 1 in illiteracy for kids that are still going to school, number 1 in anti-business regulations, and number 1 in worker restrictions.
And he's also the first one who passed that legislation that if you have a truck older than 2019, that's diesel, you can't have it on the roads in California anymore. So there's semis literally stopping at the border to be unloaded, to be sent into California.
Really? Wow.
And he also got legislation passed that in 2028, 2030, there'd be no more engines No more fuel-powered engines or
Gas,
oil-run engines being made and allowed in the state of California. Everything will have to be electric.
Yeah.
Everything. Every single thing. Every car, every truck, every semi, every engine for the trains, you name it. You can't even have generators to make your electricity for your cars, because guess what? Those generators are run off of diesel and oil. And those are what's used to make electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they going to make enough electricity?
Place is a train wreck, man.
Yeah,
it's an absolute train wreck. But I don't think they're really going to have to worry about dealing with Gavin Newsom too much longer, because the feds ain't even made it to California yet. They said that you think the fraud in Minnesota is bad. It's 10 times worse in California.
I talked with several ranchers on my TikTok that's in California, and even the agriculture end of it is beyond comprehension. I mean, it's bad. And these people have ranched there for generations, and it's gotten bad.
Where do they have ranches at? Up in the northern part of the state?
Oh, they're all over California. Yeah, they're at the north part. They're on the east side of the mountains, basically from Red Bluff all the way down to the deserts, down to the very southern end. Red Bluff to Bishop, that's all ranches. There's actually ranches on the coast also, on the northwest coast.
Jeez. I don't know. Anybody can afford it, man. Everything out there is so expensive.
And a lot of those ranches go all the way back to the days where Mexico had control of California. There's back to the day of the land grants. That's how long some of those ranches have been there.
Dang.
But see, it's like the state I'm in. Whereas California over the years has always fought Mexicans and the Mexico about that kind of stuff. Well, here, our great governor, Stitt, is taking on the Indians 100%. Stitt is going after the Indians here on the reservations like you wouldn't believe. He's even telling them now that they're not allowed to fish or hunt on the reservation, which is sovereign territory run by the federal government, not the state. But he's saying you must have a state license in order to hunt and fish on the reservation. If not, you will be arrested.
There's been something going on with your governor, and I can't remember what it is. I can't remember.
Stitt is a nut. He's just a rhino like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And see, what people don't realize about Oklahoma, too, if you really look at your reservation maps, 3/4 of Oklahoma is reservation. Once you get past me, I can go right down here to Sealing, Oklahoma, which is about 15 miles away. That's reservation land. But I can get over just on the other side of I-35, which goes north and south. Everything pretty much east to the border, north and south, is reservation land. And guess where Stitt's property is? It's on reservation land.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Jeez. I didn't know 3/4 of Oklahoma was reservation land.
Oh, yeah. We got the 5 nations here. You ought to pull it up sometime and look at it. You'd be surprised how much Oklahoma is reservation land.
I'll have to look it up.
Because the Trail of Tears came through here and went to Florida. Then they came back and they settled here.
What tribes do y'all have?
Okay, what is it? Cheyenne, Arapaho. There is some Apaches here. But Apache is one of the nations that's never been accepted by the government. The Geronimo. Mm-hmm. There's two Indian tribes that's never been accepted by the United States government. But there's, what is it? Cheyenne, Arapaho, Comanche, Cherokee, and Kiowa, I think. I think that's the 5 nations. I could be wrong.
Wow, interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, matter of fact, I forget how many years ago it was, but there was a powwow up in Kansas, up in Coldwater, Kansas, and Donna took me up there for my birthday. And yeah, there was people there from 7 different tribes.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool.
You know, like up there in Dakotas, Sioux's big up there in Dakotas. And Montana's big for the Blackfeet and the Flatheads.
Huh. Wow. Well, that's pretty neat. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I had no idea.
But yeah, Newsom's a joke. Newsom's a joke. I mean, and you know, they got covers like GQ and shit like the People magazine saying, "Oh, look at his hair. He is dressed so elegantly." It's kind of like he dresses with style. Who gives a shit how he's dressed?
Yeah, exactly. What's his policies like?
Exactly.
Yep.
How has he benefited you and made your life 100% better?
That's what I tell people every time when they start crying about Trump's tweets and this. It doesn't matter. What does his policies do for your life? You know, and all these people whining about the billionaires. How the hell is a billionaire affecting your life? They don't affect mine one iota. Who cares?
Well, California now has proposing 3 different taxes. And if I remember right, one of them is the people that's moving.
Wealth tax.
If you move out of the state of California within a tax year, then they will go after you to pay taxes for the next 5 or 10 years in the state of California for moving your business completely out of the state.
Mom Donnie's trying to do it to his people too. And Ron DeSantis said, you go ahead and let him try to do it to somebody who moves to Florida.
Oh, yeah. But then another tax, what was the other tax? There was another tax that was just unreal. Oh, the mileage tax. You're getting taxed now on how you drive, how many miles you drive. You're getting taxed on that. You know, even if you just go from work to home, you still get taxed on it. You get taxed on how many miles you drive every day.
Jeez. Wow. Oh, speaking of California, I saw earlier today that Angelina Jolie, now that all her kids are grown and graduated from high school and stuff, she's moving out. And no, her oldest 2 graduate this coming June, and she's moving to Cambodia in July because she said she does not recognize her country anymore. Like, good God, lady, imagine what it'd look like if that woman would have got elected. Yeah. Imagine what it'd be like right now.
Oh yeah.
People like Bongino and all them guys, they'd be in jail.
You know, like I'm 61 years old. Born 1964. I grew up and seen a lot of changes in this country. But I've never seen stuff happen like we do it now. And it just makes me wonder what the hell happened to our country. And I remember back to where my dad, before he died, my dad died when he was 84. My dad was a lifelong Democrat, but he was a moderate. And he told me straight to my face, the last time I seen him, he said, you pay attention because the Democrats are going to destroy this country from within. And they've done it.
That's exactly right. They've taken all the power away from the people.
I never would have imagined that the country that I served and protected, bled, sweat, cried, killed, whatever. I've never imagined it'd be in the shape that it is.
No, I imagine not.
Now, I'm proud to be an American. I will fight to my day and die for this country and for me and mine. But I've never imagined how our everyday life revolves around politics as much as it does. I mean, think about it. Everything we do, everything we see, everything we hear is nothing but politics. That's all it is. Yep. It's not how can you help your fellow man, it's politics, like JFK would say in his inauguration speech. Don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
That's right.
You know, but here we are now in 2026, and we got a bunch of nitwits up in that 10 mile by 10 mile square sovereign place called Washington, D.C. It's not a state. I don't care what they teach you in school, youngins. Washington, D.C. is not a state. It's sovereign territory. But we have people up there that you have elected into office that you can fire at any time. You don't have to wait till an election. All you got to do is get enough signatures and you can fire that individual. Needless to say, I've never seen a time in my life from politics where we have such devastating occurrences to where they're shutting down the government 2 or 3 times different a year, trying to affect our lives in such a way that is so devastating, that's keeping everybody down so hard as long as they can keep making their money just to try to prove a point.
Yep.
You know, if I didn't know any better, I would think Washington, D.C. is like a big old schoolyard. So it's the biggest bully.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in all honesty, think about it. That's exactly what they're acting like. There's nothing but a bunch of bullies.
Yeah.
You give me what I want, or I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what they are, big bullies. All about that power, man. These Democrats
Now, just imagine if the people's voice actually mattered and we went back to the way it really was, like the original 13th Amendment. The original one has been ratified, but yet they lost it, so they passed another 13th Amendment. But anyway, I digress on that. But just imagine if the people's voice went back, we were able to take things back like it was originally set up in the Constitution, to where there was term limits, and you was not paid a salary to be a representative. You was paid as a commoner to go up and represent, and you worked X amount of days. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, just imagine if the people had the cojones enough in every state in America to stand up and make that happen. Trump can't do it because Trump is the president. Now, what is the role of the president? The role of the president is to be a representative of the people, not of Congress, not of Senate, but to be a representative of the people. Now, why do you think Trump was so adamant? He said, everything I'm doing is for the people of America.
Mm-hmm.
Now, think about that.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off on that.
No, that's fine. Ain't no worries. No, I was just gonna hit on this real quick. So basically when you were talking about everything you hear is about politics, well, everything you've been hearing here lately is about the Nancy Guthrie case, and God bless her. I mean, I totally get it, but man, if you've been staying up on this case, you need a neck brace, man, because every time it goes one way, they go another way, and it's like, well, now we got the OJ-esque scenario playing out with the black glove that they found. Well, now they're saying that the glove does have the suspect's DNA on it, not Nancy Guthrie's DNA that was found in the house. And the whole deal with the sheriff there in Pima County, of course, he's an elected official. He's a Democrat. But this guy, instead of using the FBI's lab in Quantico, this clown's playing politics, man, and he's shipping the stuff down here to Florida. Well, you know, DNA can be used up after they test it the first time. It's eventually going to have to go to Quantico anyway. Why wouldn't you just send it there to the best lab in the world? And here this man is playing politics, and he's had to walk back things that's come out of his mouth from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
So, something's off with that sheriff, Chris. Something's off.
That's where I say this whole thing's not adding up. This
Not
whole Nancy Guthrie thing is not adding up at all. And here's my question. Until her name started coming up that she's missing, I've never heard of her. Which 99% of America has never heard of her.
Yeah.
Is she a celebrity? Was she known for something other than having a child that's on some news station? You know, I don't know who she is. I don't know her background. I don't know nothing about her. But, you know, it sure seems like this focus on her case has become a quagmire, as per se, in who's right, who's wrong, what's going on, who is this, who is. And in my mind, I'm kind of like, why is there so much publication on this case? But yet there's millions of people, thousands of people that come up missing and or dead, but you don't hear about them. Is it because her daughter's a world-known reporter?
That's exactly right, man. I don't understand.
I know for a fact we have a gentleman here that come up missing 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Just disappeared. They found his truck. They found his phone. They found his billfold.
Yep.
But he's gone.
You ain't heard hiding her hair about the man, have you?
You don't hear anything about it.
Nope. It's a shame, man, because, you know, a lot of these missing and exploited children that, you know, there's a list of and have been for years wouldn't be near as long had those kids have had all the press coverage and all the resources used on their missing case.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's where I say there's something about this that doesn't add up. And what gets me is I don't know the whole story, but apparently they're wanting Bitcoin for ransom.
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know what it is about Bitcoin. I know it's pretty high. I don't deal in it or anything like that. And apparently they've sent these ransom notes not only to one station, but several stations.
TMZ and local channels.
And there's been a lot of blood found, more than normal.
From her front door to the steps that lead down to her driveway. So that means the blood stopped there. So that means that a car had to pull up into that driveway. So that tells me that two people were involved.
And you can't tell me the neighborhood she lives in, there's nobody has one of those Ring cameras.
Yeah.
She had one on her house. So where's the video of them taking her out of the house, putting her in the vehicle?
Well, I think he stole the camera. He took the camera off the wall after you see him on the camera. But the Ring cameras in that neighborhood really would be next to irrelevant, only for the simple fact seeing something on the road, because the houses sit so far off the road and you have all that foliage and stuff in the way that I don't think that a Ring camera would pick up something in the road.
Well, probably in that state, they probably got cameras at every stoplight there is.
They do. They have that.
And to me, this is just my gut. But something's not right with this entire thing. It's just the smell is off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But why is there so much publication on this?
Yeah, I mean, they bring in a retired FBI.
Are you there?
Yeah, sorry. Everything was buffering there for a minute.
Yeah.
But no, then they bring in a retired Secret Service agent, and then they bring in another homicide detective's aunt's mother's cousin's daughter, and then they bring in all these people giving their opinions of what they think. That's all speculation, folks. That's all it is speculation. You know, why do they keep – and Fox is notorious for it.
And that's why I say this thing don't smell right at all.
No,
this thing doesn't smell right at all, and I don't care how you look at it.
I mean, because why would you take an 84-year-old woman out of the house, you know, unless it went bad, maybe, you know, she took his mask off his face or whatever, and then, you know, she clearly was wounded when she came out of the house.
Somebody was.
But, yeah, I can tell by the droplets that they were dripping. So that tells me, you know, it's an older person. Maybe her arm got cut or something, hitting the wall or whatever. Or maybe it's dripping out of her. She had a nosebleed. It didn't appear to me like it was a stab wound. Clearly wasn't a gunshot wound. You know, high impact, you know, wound like that. you'd have had pools of blood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but then again, what are you going to do with this woman?
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think the ransom letters are all noise. That they're irrelevant.
Something's not adding up on this.
Yeah, I don't think it's a kidnapping case myself.
No, I think it's something else.
Yeah, it was a home invasion that went wrong, went bad. Something she put up a fight, and you know, it's sooner or later they'll find this guy. But see, he definitely didn't know what the hell he was doing. You see the way he was carrying his gun?
No.
Right down in the front of his pants, right in his abdomen area, right on the outside of his pants, and he had a semi-automatic pistol in a revolver holster. I mean, come on, man. I mean, maybe it was maybe he put it there for like an intimidation thing. So, oh, you see my weapon, so you're gonna be scared of me, type thing. But he clearly knew that ring camera was there, though. He knew it was there. And by the time he walks up the steps and looks right at the ring camera, turns around and goes and picks up one of her flower bushes and walks back up to put it over the camera, to think that you're already caught on camera, dude.
You know, the funny part about that is, too, those ring cameras, my landlord that I lease this place from, they got one on their house. And 99% of the time when I walk up to the house to give them the pay for the lease, they know I'm there before I even touch the ring thing.
Sure. Absolutely. It picks you up on motion.
Yeah. Kind of like, okay.
Yeah, they're good for when you walk up to the door. Now, like with the guy that walked up to her door, they're great for that. I mean, they can that ring camera can see her whole driveway during the daytime.
Yeah.
But physically, like the road being as far away from her front door as they are, and with all those big cactus in the way and all that foliage out there in Arizona in front of them homes, it just won't pick up a guy walking down the street.
Now, like I say, there's just my gut's telling me there's something else going on here. Yeah, but the question remains is, why is this getting so much publication? And me being me, is they're trying to distract us from something else that's going on.
Got it, man. I don't know what I just don't get it. I mean, and speaking of waiting, I got to say, I disagree with Trump on this whole Iran thing. I don't know what the man's waiting on. I understand he's sending a second carrier strike group over there, but this is a prime opportunity to take those cockroaches out, man. They're on their back feet. They're running out of water. This country's broke. They have no nukes left. They're running out of oil. Why would he not just go in there and bomb the crap out of them and take the Ayatollah out and all his people? What's he waiting for?
Yeah.
We got the firepower in the region to do it right now.
Right.
But maybe he's waiting on more firepower to get there. That way, if they start shooting at Israel,
it's like after this deal down there with that drug guy, you know, they're saying, oh, you got to have authorization from the House and the Senate before you can do anything. Well,
no, you don't.
You ain't going to get authorization from the House and Senate to go after Iran. Because who was sending all the money they could to Iran? Obama
and Biden.
Exactly.
They were funding all them.
Exactly.
Hamas and all those people.
So do you think they're going to say, oh, yeah, well, we sent them all this money, but yeah, go ahead and get them now?
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem, Chris, with going to Congress is you go to them behind closed doors or whatever, then you got them leaking to the Iranians, hey, we're coming, pulling another Mark Milley.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Hey, you know, if he comes over there, I'll let you know ahead of time.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing how much stuff gets leaked out before it actually happens.
You got it, man. You got it. That leaking stuff is it's a popular thing in Washington. I don't understand why, but
yep.
Maybe unless they're getting backdoor money or something. But anyway. All right, brother. You got anything else?
I do, but I better keep it to myself for right now.
All right, we'll hit it on next. We'll hit on it next time.
All right.
All right, everyone.
Well, I just got one last thing to say. Now that I think about it. And ladies and gentlemen, it's important to actually look around to see what's happening. And I mean look around. You know, I grew up with the term look, listen, and learn. And it's pretty easy to do every single day. Look at all the BS that's been spewed out, learn from it, and listen to what they're actually saying, and then go by your gut. And if something's not right, research it. Research it. Look into it. You can research anything you want. I mean, it's all free. It's all out there on the internet. You can pull it up and look at it.
From a reliable source.
Until then, if you sit on a wooden fence too long, you will get a splinter in your butt. So get your ass up, put your feet down, go forwards, never go backwards.
Exactly right. All right, everyone. We appreciate you being here. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye for now. God bless you all.